Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 8 of the Hollerachia Podcast. We are 8 episodes deep somehow. I mean, it's surreal to me that we have made it this far, and I really do thank everybody for the support we've gotten, and it's really kind of lent to this momentum that we have behind us, and we hope to continue this thing, keep it going. But yeah, episode 8, and we are here at the Pickup Country WSKV studio in Irvine. Shout out to Ethan Moore and these guys for kind of opening the space up to us and hosting us. Shout out to Jeff Rowdy over here in the Rowdy Hour, who just had me on. We kind of did some speaking and kind of hopped on his radio station. So that's kind of pretty neat. So check out his hour there on Fridays. And last time or the past couple episodes, we've been plugging the Appalachian flood relief, and I want to do that again. So we are still kind of promoting or I guess asking folks and our listeners to contribute and do what you can to help our brothers and sisters out in Eastern Kentucky who are victims of the latest round of floods, which really comes on the heels of the major round of floods that happened in 2022. So that whole area, obviously still in recovery, and it was devastated again by this last round. You can donate. There's a couple good ways to donate. What I would recommend is go to the WSKV.com website. And I think it's WSKVFM.com. But Ethan has shared a couple links there, one being the Foundation for Appalachian Kentucky, which allows you to choose that option, and it diverts the money to the appropriate parties and kind of gets the money where it needs to go. So once again, we are promoting our flood relief, and just kind of, if you can give, we please ask that you do give. But anyway, today I have a great guest with me. He's a talented artist. I've seen you a couple times. And I think the last time I saw you was actually at Music in the Park in Stanton. And that's kind of when we exchanged information. I had a conversation with you since then. But Mr. James Abney.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, man. I appreciate you. But yeah, I know I caught you in Music in the Park. There was last year, and you really, really impressed me. Your sound, your style, and stuff like that. And obviously, I got some real Hank vibes from you. And that's what made me give you a call. I was like, yeah, it's I definitely want to talk to this guy. I got to pick his brain a little bit. But so how long so you're from here in Irvine, right?
Yes. Yeah, I was born here in Estill County. Spent most of my life here in Estill County. I've moved away a couple of times, but I always found my way back. Been here for 38 years this last time. So yeah,
that's kind of everybody's story, though. You kind of explore a little bit, which I always encourage kids to do that, and kind of explore, but there's no place like home. You always kind of end up right back here. And honestly, there's no better place on earth to be, in my opinion.
I agree with you.
Yep. So now I live right across the mountains here. I live in Powell County, and that's where I raise my kids, and that's where I wouldn't want to raise my kids anywhere else. So.
I'm the same way, exactly. It's a big world when you get out in it, and it's a lot better here at home, in my opinion.
Yeah, you don't appreciate it till you get a little bit older. Once you kind of get past the wild roots, of your early 20s and stuff, then you kind of start to see the silver lining and be back home again.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So. Obviously, you're a great picker, you're a great singer, and you're a great songwriter. And at Music in the Park, we kind of heard a lot of the covers you did, but tonight we're going to explore some of your personal and your originals that you've written, which I'm excited to kind of dig into and stuff. But I guess we'll start with your influences. Let's kind of go into what leads into you're writing your music, you're composing your music, and building these stories. So obviously, in your voice, I hear a lot of Hank. So. Would you consider Hank to be kind of one of your most preeminent influences, or who would kind of play into your songwriting?
My songwriting is a mix. I'm all over the board with it. I guess I do a little bit of but yeah, Hank was a big influence with his writing, and of course, when I was younger, I was a hard rocker. I thought I was going to be into rock and roll, but the baritone voice in the 90s and 80s just didn't work real good for a rock and roll heavy metal band. They wanted the screamers, and so I've basically started playing the guitar at 12 and played in some bands up till I was 18, 19 years old, and then I kind of quit that kind of scene and went on with normal life, as you say, and met my beautiful wife now and married to her. And it's been 5 years now, actually, to be honest with you, maybe 6 years. My cousin was playing music out and actually recorded a disc and stuff, and he asked me if I'd care to sit in with him and play some festivals. I haven't played in years, but I'm sure because we was raised together playing. Russell Johnson is who it is.
Okay.
So I said, yeah, we sat down and started practicing and toured a little bit with him, played a few festivals and shows around, and that was right about the time the COVID hit, of course. So that kind of put everything on the back burner to an extent, and then we went our ways, and at that time I was playing with another one of my cousins, another direction, and we went and done some more like private little things during the COVID, what we could get into. And at that point's when I actually started singing, because I never sung up to that point in my life, other than in the background a little bit while I was playing or something. But
that surprises me though, man, because you sound great. You sound great. It sounds like so natural coming from you too. Just like, and I love that deep baritone. Like, it seems like in this space, it really is kind of getting more represented. Like you said, where you come up in, like you said, the 80s, 90s, obviously you're hair bands and stuff. Everybody's screeching and screaming, so.
Right. Well, like I said, I had a full spectrum. I also have a lot of musical family. Like I said, Russell and Nathan Johnson, like father, like son. I'm not know if you're familiar with them. Magnolia, Rock and Roll, Manitoba, I think they're my cousins as well. But singing mazes was kin to me. A lot of gospel influence.
So you're pretty deeply connected then. You're
a lot of front porch picking and cookouts, barbecues, and pig roast.
Hey, it's the front porches and like a backyard barbecues that kind of leads to like some of the best musicians out there. It really does. It's kind of that intimate vibe that just kind of really builds builds upon what's already in you. That's awesome though. And you got so you would credit your family, I guess, a lot. And I guess a lot of that, familiar picking, coming up and stuff, that kind of built your sound.
Yes. Yeah, it has. And, like I said, just, life experiences. I've only been writing, like I said, I've been started back playing music 5 years ago, been writing roughly 4. A friend of mine, Jason Bowman, I'll give him a shout out. He was one that really got me interested in the writing side of things. And
right. And I'm excited to explore that too. Obviously it's so podcast got dedicated to the songwriters and the storytellers. So super excited to kind of hear what you got for me today. So 5 years, so you had a kind of long hiatus there. What'd you do in between?
Just worked, raised a daughter, and just done my normal thing. I still done a lot of the music festivals, just went to them. A lot of my friends, like Michael Stallings and them guys, when they was doing their thing, they never even really knowed I played music, but I still went and supported them just because I enjoyed listening to them. And that's what really, listening to them, watching them do it's kind of wanted to give me the want to get back into it. And at our core, we're all just a bunch of music fans, man. Oh yeah,
it's just
that's it. That's
music
it.
For the sake of music. That's me too. I'm always out there, exploring these venues. Like I said, I like to say I'm a music fan posing as a podcast host. It just gives me excuse to get in these festivals in the back door.
Another reason to play. You get into festivals as well.
But no, I joke. It is. I'm honored to kind of be in a position like where I can, be in this capacity a lot of the times, because it's surreal to me. Like, how many awesome people I've met. I mean, like phenomenal people I've talked to. These talented. I mean, it's incredible just the amount of diluted talent that we have in this whole region, man. And especially out of Irvine specifically. So Irvine's producing some phenomenal.
They are
names.
Some really, of course, like I said before, Tyler Childers and everybody kind of made the area known. It was just, it was pretty much everybody sitting around playing music, and that's what we did, and that was what was done. And to most standards, it was pretty amazing. It's a skill, but around here, you're average whenever you're, so it kind of makes you pick your game up when you're around better musicians. That's for sure.
Well, they call it like a California 10, I guess. If you're around here, you're a picker. And like a phenomenal picker in Western Kentucky, be an average picker here.
Exactly.
No, it is. But it is that such a deep pool of talent. And like you said, it's such a diluted space. I mean, like you can't pass 2 or 3 houses here without, seeing somebody picking on the front porch.
Exactly. Yeah.
And, but that's what's so ingrained in this culture. And that's just such a cultural and heritage thing for us here. And that is in itself what leads to so much good, great talent. So what kind of work do you do there?
Right at the moment, I am unemployed music. I do my music thing at the moment.
I guess in that period between, coming up to 5 years ago, what all kinds of stuff did you do?
I worked for EKU. Actually, I was a carpenter repair technician too.
Cool.
So that was what I was doing 5 years ago.
A lot of hands-on stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And you just have your one daughter?
Excuse
You
me?
just have just one daughter?
One daughter, 2 grandchildren now. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I guess they always like to hear you pick and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, they do. They enjoy it. My daughter, she's singing and stuff some and starting to pick a little bit now.
Really?
After
That's
years.
awesome.
My grandkids are really into it. They like to beat on the guitar and do their thing.
Oh, that's cool. Do you see any future for your kids or grandkids?
Yes, I really do. My granddaughter can sing great. My daughter can too. If they really want to focus on it, they could do what they wanted to. Just like anybody, I guess, if you put your mind to it, focus on it, you can do it.
Oh yeah. I'd say, seeing Papa up there playing stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
they definitely helps.
I like to watch it on their face when they what are you doing on stage?
I know it was like, I guess, when you're that age and that size, everybody, that you seem like a rock star.
Yeah, I'd say it probably does
cool.
too. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, we're coming up. We're about 10 minutes in. How about we go ahead and pick one song? And
Sure.
Just kind of, like I said, we're dealer's choice around here. So you choose the song you want to play, and then we'll kind of talk about it a little bit after you're done.
Well, like I said, I was sitting around talking. I'll do my first song I ever written. This song I wrote about my wife, and I was sitting around just coming up with guitar licks as a guitarist. I'm sure you'll sit around and come up with different songs. And 90% of my songs I write, I will freestyle them. I'll just start picking and I'll put words to it. And luckily my wife is usually around with a phone to record me so I can take it back apart later, So, but even if I'm riding on the road driving or something, I will pull my phone out, lay it down beside me and acapella, sing the song and have the tone in my head. The song here was my first one and I was doing that. I just picking around and come up with this. Is called In Love with the Woman. Well, I fell in love with a woman when I was 21. She looked at me with them big green eyes. I knew she was the one. In love with a woman. I fell that day. In love with a woman. She stole my heart away. Well, I didn't know it at that time, what I was getting into. When we crossed that line, she knew just what to do. In love with a woman, a witchy woman she is. In love with a woman, she stole my heart, she did. Think she's put a spell on me with her crystals of sage. Now she's got control over me with her witchy ways. In love with a woman, there's nothing I can do. In love with a woman, she put a spell on me, it's true. Still in love with that woman. Thank you.
A witchy woman, man. Put a spell on you.
Yeah.
Like yep.
Yeah, that's like I said, when I first wrote it, there was a few lines in there that's different and she didn't approve of, so I had to kind of rewrite the song to an extent. But
had to run about your moderator there.
Yeah. But that was my first little experience with writing a song, and after that it was a hook. I just started trying to do more and more and more after that point.
Yeah, man, it sounds good. No, I guess it's what it takes. You kind of get your claws in you, and then after that, you just got to take some.
And at that point, I was, like I said, I wasn't really singing a lot out in front of people. I was singing back up with my cousin because he was doing full 4-hour shows, and it's hard to sing. So I would start doing a few songs with him. I'd do 1 or 2 songs a night. That was about what I would do.
You got to get your feet wet. You got to ease in from the shallow end. I mean, I get it. That's like, well, I've played guitar for, God, I'm not to age myself. I guess probably 22, 23 years now. But like, I've never had the courage to actually take that step and start singing, though.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I can't. I just never have really kind of had the, I guess, the wherewithal to, or the courage to even try to broach that space.
Well, like I said, where I played in the back for a couple of years without actually doing much singing and stuff, and I've never really been a nervous type for some reason. My nerves do not get the best of me. As I tell some of my friends, I've messed up in front of some of the biggest, some of the best out there, so it doesn't. It's hard to embarrass me real bad anymore. I guess the older you get, it's not as.
Well, that helps being a performer too, I guess, just kind of having that shield on, Yeah. I do. I kind of get, nervous. I kind of get anxious and I start mumbling and like, it becomes really obvious whenever, my anxiety takes over. But,
some of the best musicians I know will be a nervous wreck before they hit the stage. And I'm like, if I was that bad, I couldn't get on stage. There's no way that I could. But when they get on stage, they are more interactive with the crowd than I will ever be.
Yeah.
And I see that's what gets me is I'm really not a nervous individual. And it's hard for me to interact with the crowd as good as some of these people do now. I guess it's their nerves taking over, making them more talkative but they really work the crowd well, with the.
Well, I guess, that kind of describes, I guess, my kind of approach too is like, I just start talking. I guess the more nervous I get, the more talkative I get. It's probably just a personality thing, but so what kind of stages have you been on? I know you've kind of shared a stage with some big, big folks and some big names. You've shared some bills with some pretty impressive names.
Yeah, I have been. I've been on several stages. It's hard to say. I did couple of years ago. I got to go to Nashville and done the Texas Troubadour Ernest Tubb. So
that's cool.
Thing is stage down there. I've done probably 80% of them around here local, I guess you'd say, the different festivals, Mountain Woolly Worm Festival, the Mushroom Festivals, and the Picking in the Park, Stanton. I've done several, like the venue when it was open, I played up there. Of course, they've closed it down. The Nook, I played in Lexington, Tipsy Cow, BBH.
So they closed the venue in Moorhead? Was that the one you're talking about?
The venue, yes, but they reopened it under another name now. Okay. I think I'm not sure exactly what it's called.
So I love the vibe of that place.
That place was awesome. It cool. was. You walked in there and and the sound was really top notch.
I think actually that's why I told Reed Fields in that last episode, and I told Sarah Beth as well. It's like what kind of got me interested in getting into this like a media space and kind of getting like having these conversations, talking to songwriters and stuff. Was a show I caught with Reed Fields and Sarah Beth at the venue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was that night, because Sarah is like one of the most prolific songwriters, in the industry right now. I mean, just what she pumps out and the quality of stuff she pumps out. Then Reed too, man. Reed's out there, absolutely, putting out some bangers himself and then grooming other songwriters and building them up and hosting his own sessions. And you've been to a few of those, ain't you?
Oh yes. I do some of the Reed Fields. I've done some of Trish Torleen's, several of the songwriters. I enjoy that. I enjoy the festivals and the songwriters rounds probably a lot more than anything I do in the music scene. You get to see a lot of talent that you'll never catch anywhere else.
Oh, it's the best.
And it is the best. There is some really, like you said, unseen talent in this state that needs to be seen and heard. And people like that, Donovan Howard, and them guys, they all put it out there. They actually let these people get up and do their thing, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's what's so amazing about this music community. And it seems like you got the highly accomplished artists, like Reed Fields out there, doing these aggressive Texas rounds with Chris Knott and stuff like that.
Yeah,
comes back home and puts up, like this platforms. Folks around here, it just kind of gives them an opportunity to kind of puts a spotlight on them for a second and showcases what they're doing. Songwriter rounds, man, are the absolute. I think they're just the most endearing and wholesome part of this industry.
I agree.
And that, like I said, that's another thing that's kind of inspired me to kind of do this. Like our platform is not huge right now, but at the same time, my goal was to open up this space, to allow any artist or creator from around here just to kind of show what they got, and to make a space that's facilitates that kind of art and stuff. So it's really cool, man. And those songwriter sessions are something else. I know like Reed's got that one in 145 Steakhouse. I've been telling him I'm going to get to. I want to go the next one he's got coming up. So
That'll be a good show. He's always got some great talent. Reed is he's every place he puts on songwriters around. He's got a lot of connections around the area, of course, it being Reed Fields, and he pulls in some of the best talent in the state. Mm-hmm. We was talking about songwriters' influences earlier. Like I said, my true writing influences, I consider that Reed, Donovan Howard, Jason Bowman, and them are some of my truly influences in my writing more than the bigger artists, just on account of I'm around them, and they was the one that kind of got me cutting my teeth into it. Give me the gumption to actually go. So, and I would listen to their wording, and I'm like, man, I would, they really piece together words, songs really well. So that's kind of a lot of my influences.
You couldn't ask for better influences anyway, man. And it kind of puts the cherry on top that they are, friends and people that actually collaborate with and work with, and actually kind of give you some really useful feedback and stuff.
My first songwriters round, I only had 3 songs to my name at the time. And I guess if you'd say if I was ever nervous, I was nervous there, but I still wasn't really nervous, just, uneasy a little.
Yeah.
Well, I get up on stage and they put Donovan Howard on the left of me, Mike Howard from Exile on the right of me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've got 3 songs. This guy over here, he got thousands. This guy over here has got hundreds, and I'm like, but I started into my songs and they made me feel just like I was, one of them. They started actually playing lead with me. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's pretty cool. And that's where I met Donovan at, I think, actually was there. And then we kind of become really good friends. I haven't actually released anything out to the public yet, but he's done a lot of recording for me. I've got 9 songs recorded in with Donovan, doing a lot of the music and stuff behind me on it.
So we got some in the future?
Oh, yeah. You got some stuff coming out in the future, definitely.
Man. Absolutely. Well, certainly keep me posted on that progress. We'll give you we'll prop you up, bud. That's awesome. Very, very cool. But let's go ahead and pick another one. Like I said, I've got to go 10 minutes in between, just kind of time it out right. So let's go ahead and do another session, and we'll kind of go from there.
This next song I wrote, it's called Hemlocks and Lee County Line. It's a little bit of a story about, when I was young, I had a sickly childhood, and my dad, he got tired of the rat race, and so he moved us way out in the country, Cathedral Domain. It's God's country, what I call it. The story the song tells a story itself, I guess. So, like a songwriter once told me, if you can't really figure it out from the story, a song, then it's not much need to talk about. But here you go. It's Hemlocks Lee County Line. Well, I've eaten my dinner from a wood-burning stove, gotten my water from a well, lived in the mountains for most of my life, raised in the hemlocks of Lee County Line. We didn't have any electricity, lived off the grid, my family and me, raised a garden, lived off the land, harvested it all with her hands. Cathedral Domain, it was home to me, a country boy, is what you call me. Logged on them timbers and I made moonshine, done everything I could to survive. Done everything I could to survive. I find agate rock in these hills and creeks, hunting arrowheads is a hobby to me. Big ginseng on these cliffside, drink sassafras tea, ease my mind. Country life is the way for me, no other way, and I want it to be. Ain't Hadn't much money, but I had a hell of a time. Few things I done in my life. Just a few things I done in my life. Well, I made my dinner from a wood burning stove. Got my water from a well, you know. Lived in the mountains for most of my life. Raised in the hemlocks on the county line. Raised in the hemlocks on the county line.
Get much more Appalachian Americana than that, man.
No. Like I said, I have got a wide, that's my problem with releasing this album, because I write so many different styles, and I've wrote so many more songs since I actually laid down. I'm thinking about taking it back apart and kind of fitting them together.
Yeah.
Because I write some rockier stuff and a little more Americana.
Just kind of remaster everything, kind of break it down and just kind of refine it. Yeah. I think it sounds good, man. Like I said, I do like that style. It's as far as a storytelling song goes, you don't get much more, clean than that.
Right.
It's cool. I like that. It really kind of takes you. It really paints a good picture too.
Yeah.
And eating dinner from that wood burning stove. That's something that only a few of us can kind of call upon that memory nowadays.
That's true. That is true. Yes, it is.
But yeah, man. So the Lee County line. So is that where your folks come up, or?
I was actually born in Nassau County, and like I said, I had heart problems and stuff. We done, Dad had a lot of surgeries and things, and he just got, on the garage and stuff at the time. I got tired of fooling with it. So when I got healthy enough, we moved to Cathedral Domain. I think I was 6-year-old at the time, 7, and stayed there until I was about 10 or 11, I think, and then we moved back to Nassau County.
Okay. Very cool, man. So I see, you have some really strong memories there, and it really kind of paint a great picture. Like I said, it's the way you kind of walk us through that story. You really feel that.
Oh yeah, it was something to feel. It said I raised a lot of kids my age everybody's playing Ataris, and we didn't have electric, so it was different than it was.
Yeah. No, man, it's that's a lot of our stories around here. Obviously, I didn't have that same experience, coming up. But my grandparents, kind of hearing their stories and hearing how they come up, and how they just kind of carved out the river and built it up, on their own, and really kind of paved the way.
Where we lived at, they just didn't have electricity back there. If they'd had it that far back in the woods, we would have had it, but it wasn't there. And we had a generator. My father, he fired us once a week. We got an hour a week to actually have electricity and do stuff like that with. But that was 1 hour a week.
So how'd y'all prioritize that?
My sister usually got the most. And my mom. That's how that worked.
You found over that 1 hour, man.
Yeah.
I tell you, my kids, I don't know, they don't think they make it.
Us boys, we didn't care because we'd rather been out in the woods running, hunting, and doing our thing anyway. So I had a little dirt bike at the time, so I stayed out on the trail a lot, riding it, and getting tore up, and beat up.
That's the best way to come up, man.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's what's missing this generation now. My kids, they're so, I don't know, that you rarely see them without a tablet or controller in their hand. It's just kind of the nature of this generation.
It is. It really is. My grandkids, your cell phone when cell phones wasn't invented when I was a kid, so we didn't have cell phones or anything and such to keep us occupied. I guess that's the reason why a lot of us play music and do the things we do to occupy our time.
I tell you, my 7-year-old's trying to keep making her pictures while she needs a cell phone. I was like, no, you're 7. Who are you talking to?
You're never going to be away from me long enough to have the time.
Exactly. I was like, man, I was 16 years old in high school before I had a cell phone. I was like, you want to chill out. I think it was a Nokia flip phone too, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, man. This generation, our kids though, we are blessed. We're very blessed, kind of, be in a position to kind of raise our kids and bring them up in this lifestyle that they don't want or need or have to kind of go through, allocation of electricity, or we are blessed in that way. But at the same time, I still feel like we need I need to drag them out in the woods every now and then. And
exactly, take them where there is no cell phone service.
Exactly.
Let them be kids for a change.
I'll tell you, man. At the time of this recording, we're creeping up. We're right on the fringe of morel mushroom season, so we're going to be I'll be dragging them out there with me.
Oh yeah, I'd say there's a few popping up as well.
Well, we've had enough warm days, and we've had plenty enough rain days. So I'd say you're probably right. I'm gonna need to sneak up there and holler and hit my spots.
I'm gonna have to do the same myself here before long.
Or undisclosed spots. I don't think anything more sacred than your morel mushroom honey patch.
No, there's not. There's very few people.
There's state secrets, man. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
But yeah, man, I'd like to kind of explore a little bit more. Let's go ahead and walk. You want to go ahead and do another one of your songs, and we'll kind of work it down.
This song here is a little bit more of a rocker tune. Like I said, I sat around and freestyle 90% of the songs. This is another one that I actually got a new electric guitar, and I had a lot of distortion doing my thing, and I hit a little note. I was like, that sounds good. So this here's called Crazy Over You. I wrote this about my wife as well.
Crazy Over You.
Said I'm crazy, girl, I'm crazy over you. Said I'm crazy, baby, girl, I'm crazy over you. When I see your face, girl, it makes me come unglued. Said I love you, I just won't love you all the time. I'm in love with you, baby, I just won't love you all the time. When the days get short, girl, it makes me glad you're mine. Said I'm crazy, girl, I'm crazy over you. Said I'm crazy, baby, girl, I'm crazy over you. When I see your face, there's only one thing I want to do. Said I'm crazy, think I'm losing my mind. Said I'm crazy, baby, I just won't love you all the time. When you're not around, I think I'm gonna lose my mind.
And I really appreciate your range. Just, how you bounce back from the song, receiving that, to this one here.
Right.
And just like how, how much you just kind of jump from one to the other, but it's like singing.
Yeah, I appreciate whenever I was playing with a good friend of mine, Brian McKinney, and us, we'd get out and he does a lot of rock, a lot of country as well, but we both mixed it up some, and we would come from country to hard rock, just back and forth. And somehow, I don't know, we managed to make it all seamlessly fit together. And I enjoyed it because it gives you a little breakup.
That's cool, man. I like the energy and like the style. I like how you kind of approach that one. You said Brian McKinney. He's the Brian McKinney lives here in Irvine, right?
No, he's the one that's in Winchester.
Oh, that's right. I was trying to think. I know a couple of them. Yeah. All right, cool, man. But yeah, so talking about, that's specifically rock influences. You got a lot of Exile behind you too.
Yeah.
I guess, what would you say kind of lifts up that rock sound? Like what the most? Who would you credit the most? I know we talked a little bit off mic about Led Zeppelin kind of being our driving forces to
learn the guitar stuff.
Into,
Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix. Whenever I grew up, it was a wide variety. It went from one swing to the other. My oldest brother was 10 years older than me, so I got a lot of the really good old rock. It was one of my biggest things. And then when I got older, of course, it was just being around the musicians that I'm around that plays and does their thing. So.
Wow. Yes, sir. It's cool, man. But like I said, it is that genuine cross-section of sound. It is that hard rock. It is that country. It is that kind of like that slower kind of lower baritone kind of style. But man, it kind of meshes into like these artists. Like you see it in you, and you can see it in like the artists all around this region. Just kind of how it mows into and kind of produces such a unique sound, man. You don't see that in a lot of other genres. You can see across any musician you speak to anywhere, they have like their influences and they could range, but it just doesn't really kind of come out in their sound like it does in this area, it seems like.
I agree with you. Like I said, in our generation, I think, was raised in the best musical generation of all times because we had everything from I was born later than the 60s, but we listened to the 60s music all the way up to the modern day music, and I think it's, just helps everybody. We said I was a rocker, there set in how my life, it was Metallica, Black Sabbath, and stuff like that, that really, and I play a lot of that. Of course, don't sing it, but I play a lot because that was my influences. And the picking styles is showed through that in the blues and the hard rock and the country and the bluegrass. It all kind of smashes together.
Melts together, man. But I guess like we're, like you said, generationally, I guess, you're talking about that, from the 60s and now, and then you mold in just the cultural influence around here and stuff. It really does. It kind of lends to create something that's just like so different and so special and just like so unique. And again, that's one of those things that kind of, I think, lends to the talent that's coming out of this region. It's just, it's amazing kind of what it can do when it has done and kind of the kind of talent it's put out. But it's pretty cool, man. But yeah, so what's been like, I guess, what's been the most fun, take a sidebar a little bit as far as like, shows and venues and festivals you played. I guess what's been like the most fun you've had on stage? Where'd you play at? You think that you just kind of really let loose and had the, kind of let it take you?
Man, there's been several times I say, but it's hard to really judge. Like I said, I'm a solo artist now, and I've played with several bands. And usually, if you got a band that's clicking, it's really hard to beat when the band is really clicking behind you and everything's just. But we've had several of those moments. It's really hard to say what would be my peak, I guess you would say. I've enjoyed all my shows, and they've been very few that I regretted doing. And that wasn't due to much other than the circumstances around the shows. But no, it would be hard to pick just one moment that was, because they've all been really great to me, in my opinion.
And every show and every venue and every crowd kind of has something new they bring and something, something they impact you in a way that, it's
as far as the more personal, laid back venue stuff, like I was telling you earlier, Bearded Man Fest is probably one of my favorite shows, and I try to do it every year if I'm able to. And of course, several others. So the Mushroom Festival appears a great thing to get into if you're into that one. But I prefer festivals and songwriters, like I was saying, at the bars. Some of the BBH is probably one of the better bars that I've played in as far as getting a really good group going and the crowd get behind you and really push and stuff like that. And a good musically oriented crowd, you know, and that's a lot.
Crowd makes all the difference too, man.
A lot of bars you play in, you're really a background noise for lots of people. You have, don't get me wrong, you'll have several that's listening and really attentive, but most of the time it's just a party, and that's cool. That's what you're there for, and that's part of it. But in the festival, it's more personal. I guess people actually come up to you and talk, and you kind of hang out and get to stick around and watch other people play. It's not just you on stage doing your thing. That's what I really enjoy about festivals. I'm not going to lie.
Can't beat the vibe of the festival, man. Like people all there collectively for that reason, all in that moment together. It seems like, yeah, you're right though. I mean, and that's why I love kind of smaller festivals. You know, that's kind of why I love World Cove. You know, Master Musicians. You kind of got these smaller, but you know, very, very well done and very well organized and very well lined up festivals versus like the Rubber, the 3 stages all day long. It's just like you can't navigate between everyone, and
exactly.
It's just it becomes almost claustrophobic for me after a while. Like for these mega fests, it's hard for me to really. I mean, I still enjoy them because you'll see shows that you wouldn't see otherwise, but it's like these single stage intimate festivals though, man, you cannot beat the vibe.
And like I said, I've started playing in the last 4 years, and I didn't go to a lot of the bigger shows like Rupp and stuff, and I went to a couple this past year, and it's just not the same feel.
Yeah.
That's what it was when I was younger. I loved it. I wanted to go to the shows. Now I'm like, I wonder if they're playing anywhere kind of small. You know?
No, I'd say, well, man, I'm only 35. I'm in the same mindset. I was like, if I got tickets to like Bourbon and Beyond, I'd be like, I'll go. But like, give me a ticket to Pineville. That's wrong.
Exactly.
But it really is. I think it's just kind of it lends to your maturity as a fan of music and as like somebody who wants to experience music and not just wants to get there and party.
Exactly.
And that's the thing with the Mega Fest. They're good for getting out there and having fun, but to really absorb music and sit down and enjoy music and just like see music for the art that it is. Yeah, the smaller venues, smaller festivals.
Exactly, and I'm. Like I said, I like to party myself, and usually if you're at a bar, I won't drink or do anything while I perform. That's just something that I won't do nothing 2 hours before. Now afterwards, it's a different story. I will party down with you afterwards. There's no doubt about it. But now, so whenever you're on stage as just you're up there all night, so you can't really enjoy them. I can't. Other people drink stuff I don't. And so it's kind of fun when I go to a festival. I get my set over, and then it's time for me to party. Now, if you call me back up on stage, that's on you because I've done my job. If I messed up, you get me back up there. That's kind of a given thing. But.
You get bullied at that point. The other was George Jones has never performed, or I've heard I guess he never performed without a drink.
Never performed up yet.
I mean, I know some artists that. I mean, they don't sound good sober. I know some artists say, the more slosh they get, the better they sound.
And I know a few like that too. And I know a few, that just a couple of drinks, and that probably wouldn't affect me that much. But I don't want to take a chance.
No, I get it. Everybody has their own approach to it. I know one artist. He's like one of the artists I was into, probably 15 years ago that really kind of started bridging me into this genre. Lucero, he's kind of got that old country western kind of gritty sound. I don't know if you probably know him.
Yeah.
But it seems like the more hammered he gets, it's just like the better he just sounds, man. He just gets up there and he just kind of carries on. But it's funny. That's so the Bearded Man Festival. You were telling me about that kind of off mic a little bit too. So tell me a little bit about that one and kind of when it is and kind of what.
It is August the 1st and 2nd weekend this year, and it is a campground. It's Growing Stones Campground. It's just a really nice place to go. It's a laid back atmosphere, family friendly. Some really good music talent comes through there. After the show's over, they open the stage up, and if you're a musician in the crowd, you're on stage 9 times out of 10 playing till daylight, and they will shut it down, but then they'll go over and sit by the campfire or something and play till the next show the next day or till they make their way home, whichever is coming first. But it's a really good show, and they've got several, not at liberty to name names yet. A lot of these shows, venues that I'm in, but They've got a really good lineup coming this year. It's going to be impressive.
I'm excited, man. Well, that's certainly one of the ones that I'm going to be attending. I'm making a point, me and buddy producer and buddy Josh over here, making a point to kind of get out there and hit up some more of these festivals, venues and stuff, kind of really showcase a lot of a lot of cool stuff popping up in other region. But yeah, Bearded Man definitely sounds like a cool.
It is, and of course, the local ones. You got the Bash on the Branch, and then the Gathering, and Richard Johnson, who started his up last year. I got to play. I'm not on his lineup this year just because it's conflicting close to times. It's a really good lineup with his group going on up there. Just some really awesome music coming into Halloween County, locally close. So it's
you can't beat it, man. And it never ceases to amaze me just how the quality of the shows and the festivals and and these events that kind of pop up around here, just like how they all, it's amazing. Just like the kind of talent that pulls together, just kind of comes together and just puts on something that is unbelievably high quality. But I think, let's see, where we at? How about play another one here? Play one more here, original, and we'll kind of break it down and then kind of start getting our plugs in. I think we're kind of coming up on time a little bit.
Coming back on it, okay. Yeah. This next song we're gonna do is it's one of my more popular songs I've done. Like I said, it got me into Nashville, Tennessee. It's called "Raised in the Mountains." I was raised in the mountains. Yeah, the mountains where I call home. I was raised in the mountains. Appalachia is where I come from. I don't care for no big cities. I'd rather be where I can roam. I was born in East Kentucky, where I make my living off the land. If you meet someone around here, better reach out and shake their hand. Ain't no room for no bleeding hearts. That's just something we can't stand. We were brought up to be polite. We say yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. If you mess up around here, son, chances are you'll never be seen again. That's just the way it goes. You don't like it, we don't give a damn. I was raised on this mountain. Yeah, this mountain is where I call home. On top of this mountain, that's where all my family is from. On top of this mountain, that's where they're gonna lay my bones.
Groovy. I like it, man. That's a crunchy sound. I love that blues style. I love that blues approach to that stuff. I love how you kind of meld that in. That's awesome.
I appreciate you, man. Appreciate
Now,
you.
you said that got you to Nashville. Explain that a little bit.
Well, my wife was trying to get me into some song. My wife is my booking agent, my manager, and my producer.
Sounds like my wife.
Pretty much everything. She's the one that keeps me going, pushes me in this stuff. I wouldn't do it without her. Couldn't do it without her.
Mm-hmm.
But she was getting me in some songwriters rounds in Nashville with MC1 Records was who it was, and they never really contacted back. They said they'd contact me back, and it went probably 3 or 4 months, and then they contacted back and said, "Are you still interested in doing this show?" I said, "Yeah, sure, be interested in coming down and doing one." They said, "Well, it is part of the Cowboys and Sweethearts national tour. If you want to, like, is it not a songwriter round?" "No, sir, it's not a songwriters round. It's an actual show.
Oh, wow.
You come down here and be part of it." And I did, and I enjoyed it. It was a 3-song set, was what it was. I got to do up on the big stage there with them. And, of course, afterwards, they pull you to the side. "Hey, you come back to my office and let's do some paperwork and this, that, and other." Cool. And at that, and like I said, I never get nervous at all when I'm on stage. It doesn't bother me. I don't know, just don't have stage fright. But whenever she said that, I kind of got my car and went back to Kentucky pretty quick at that point. And I've sat back and thought about it. Now, I did turn... I did help my cousin get in with them, and he did some recording. They've released some records and songs and stuff with them. But as far as me, I prefer doing what I'm doing right at the moment. Not to say I wouldn't have enjoyed it, probably. It's just I didn't.
It's a different vibe, man.
Yeah, and it was an 8-show tour, a national tour at the time, and it's from Florida to California, and I just...
Yeah, that's a wide stretch.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Well, man, that's I don't blame you, man. You're thriving in your pocket. That's your comfort zone. That's where you want to be, and you're having fun with it, man.
Oh yeah, I do. I enjoy it, and like I said, a lot of it's just to get to meet the people that's up there with me.
That's the coolest part.
A lot of these musicians, a lot of people don't realize that they're just as some of the best people you'll ever meet.
Absolutely, and that's something that's, like I said, that's blown my mind. Just in my travels and interactions, and just being amongst all the musicians around. Like, everybody's just like super cool. Everybody's just like I said, real familiar, real supportive, and just really do everything we can. It's a real community, and it's awesome.
It is.
But yeah, man. So that's awesome though. You kind of got that opportunity, and you said earlier that you got an album kind of coming down the pipe. Kind of working it out. You got some studio stuff going on. So what's the timeline on that look like, or just
It was actually supposed to have been out a few months ago, but I've cut myself back, like I said, and I'm wanting to try to get it out within probably June. That's where I'm trying. Okay. I will probably release at least part of it just as a single kind of deal in June, until I actually pick apart what I want to do with the rest of it and make up my mind before I release a full album on it.
Very cool, man. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to hearing. I'm really looking forward to hearing that studio version of all this, and just kind of seeing how you bring it all together and clean it up and refine it. It's gonna be cool. I'm excited.
Said Donovan Howard done a lot of the music behind it, and he, I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. He's a beast. He can play anything that you put in his hands, and he's really, really good at it. So I was really pleased with what he done on it, and the work he put into it. He put a lot of time and stuff into it for a friend, and that's what makes it great about it, is stuff like that. And I have lots of people come up and ask, "Hey, if you need a banjo picker on a song, just let me know." And that's another great thing about the music scene. Everybody's willing to help and do what they're going to do. Yep,
that's what I'm saying. It truly is a community, man, and just a great bunch of folks. And so how many, I guess, how long in the making has this album been? I guess, how long you been piddling around with it and stuff?
As far as I've wrote several songs, and then started, as far as putting down, probably a year, I would say, has been roughly a year at it right at the moment, as far as true recording and taking things apart. And that's one of the issues is, of course, Donovan, if you see him and watch him, he performs constantly. So it's hard for him to find time to sit in and do what he needs to do. And
just an aggressive schedule. You said you record out of, I guess, his studio, correct?
Yes, it's out of his place, yeah.
So what's been most surprising about the process to you is, I know everybody kind of has their own take on the whole recording process, and the ups and downs, the highs and lows.
Well, it really depends. Like I said, I've recorded with another band in another studio, there really wasn't too many surprises for me. I think I enjoy it myself. A lot of people don't like being under the tick.
Yeah, just that
all
process.
that good stuff, but I enjoy it. I think it's really where I excel. I enjoy it myself.
Yeah, it's a very, I guess it's a very grueling process a lot of times.
Yes,
really.
it is, and they'll take it apart. They will take it, and you'll have to do.
Yeah.
You might have to sing a song 5-6 times before you get out of there. And if you're like me, the more you do it, usually the worse it comes out because you start getting frustrated. But it's fun. It is a good experience to do.
It is.
I really enjoyed it.
That's awesome. I know me and Josh have put around the past, just messing around with recordings and stuff. It is a process. Like you said, kind of deconstructing it, breaking it down, dissecting it, then putting it all back together and gluing it perfectly. It's
I'm the musician. I wasn't the recorder, so he's having to try to hear what I want my songs to sound like. So I know it had to be twice as hard. He told me there's many of the nights. He probably knows my songs probably about as good, if not better, than I do on a lot of them. I've done a little show with him in the Nook over in Danville a while back, and he actually was the one putting on the show, and he got up and played drums behind me just because he was so familiar with my music. It was,
Yeah, that's cool though, man. That's I love to see stuff like that, and I know I have so many friends that are musicians that just kind of float back and forth between all these different people. They pop up, man. They pop up and support you wherever you need to,
Yep.
And those are some of the best musicians I know. Just like they can just pop up in any genre, any band, any sound, and just kind of take off.
And I enjoy that. I've got a lot of friends I will do that way. I will actually see them out in the audience and say, "You want to play lead with me tonight or whatever?" You get them up on stage with you, which makes it fun. And it's even better when they sing and you trade songs off and kind of battle it out a little bit that way, as far as not really battling, but kind of work off each other, feed off each other. What's coming next? What makes it fun.
Yep. Well, let's see. I think we're kind of coming upon the end here. Let's see. So what do you got coming up? What do you got coming up in the month of April through June? So you got your album released in June. You got some stuff, some shows coming up and festivals.
Yeah, I'm actually on the Mushroom Festival. I'll go ahead and say that. I can't say much other than who was on there other than me. I'm doing a Songwriters Round for Reed April the 4th in Maiden City. May I'm doing a thing for the River City Players, if I'm not mistaken. It's kind of a fundraiser deal up here at the railroad, new railroad park they put in up here in town in Irvine. Several little shows coming up, and of course, like I said, Bearded Man, I'm kind of a staple at that one. It's every year thing.
I'm looking forward to Bearded Man. It's gonna be cool.
I'm doing, like I said, another one. July, it's Brett Nolan's birthday party bash on the branch combination deal out there. I'm at that one as well. So
yeah, shout out Brett Nolan. He's another
Brett
friend.
Nolan,
He's another friend of the podcast, and kind of a media friend, a professional friend, a personal friend. Over at Holler Studios, him and Bob, what they got going on over there is awesome, and they're building up something great. And like I said, we're not this space. It's we all have our own pocket, our own niche. We have our own individual interests, but the thing about it is, we're not really a competition to these guys. It seems like everybody in the scenes are just lifting each other up, and Holler's next door, and I definitely recommend anybody go over there, check out their shows, check out Brett and Child's morning radio show over there. They really platform and put on display some very, very talented people, kind of like what we do over here, just in a different format, different style. But yeah, they're great friends, and he's a great supporter of local music.
Yes, he is, and a great musician himself.
Yeah, absolutely, he very much is. So where can people find your music at right
TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram somewhat. I'm more of a TikTok and Facebook kind of guy. I think it all links together now, so you get a lot of it. It's pretty much all together anymore. That's pretty much it right at the moment. And like I said, I am about to start releasing some out on the actual digital format stuff. So, but you'll get a lot of my live performances on those different things. And Photo Boss, if you check out Photo Boss's page, you'll see a lot of my stuff, and James Abney music, of course.
Yeah, that's my ask. James Abney music, and then and your singles will be releasing to.
I'm going to go with all of them, probably everything that I can.
Look at any of those spaces, you'll find your stuff coming up. Great, cool, very cool. That's awesome, man. Like I said, I'm super excited to see what you kind of put out here, and come June, I'm really excited to see that final product, and certainly, definitely pay attention to Hollerachia Podcast and our socials and everything around here, because we'll be, promoting his stuff and kind of linking it out and kind of guiding you in the right direction on how to find everything. And also, find us on TikTok as well. On TikTok, we're at hollerachia.pod. On Facebook, we have a Hollerachia page, and on YouTube and Spotify, we're at Hollerachia. And then once again, just kind of calling back to the beginning, flood relief. There's so many great ways to donate and ways to contribute and give back to these the flood victims in Eastern Kentucky. Definitely look at the Foundation for Appalachia Kentucky to find resources there to donate and give money in a way. Give money in a way that it'll get to the right person and go to the right grouping and be used in the most impactful way. Also, the Appalachian Pioneer Program, Austin Shuck, he's doing some fantastic, amazing things. Putting on some really great shows, some flood relief shows, and his flood relief efforts have been phenomenal. So check out the Appalachian Pioneer Program. Another friend of the show, Austin Shuck. And yeah, just I really appreciate you coming out, man. I appreciate you, putting on, displaying your content, kind of putting these songs and breaking it down and kind of explaining it. And it's been fun. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me, man. It's been a joy. It really has.
And like, obviously you kind of pay attention to, the Hollerachia channel, as well as our parent channel, Midnight Ride Media, where we promote and upload the venues, festivals, and stuff like that. And a lot of that content goes through there. And of course, we'll be, showcasing the Bearded Man Festival through Midnight Ride Media. And check out the Jeff Rowdy Hour here on WSKV FM. They got their shows every Friday night. Showcase some great rock music, good cross section of classic to modern rock. And check out the next episode, because, well, I guess by 419 I've already aired, but they shout out to Jeff Rowdy back here for having me on and allowing us to plug and promote the Hollerachia Podcast on there. And definitely want to plug his show as well. So find him on Facebook and on all the social media, and check him out and give him support as well. But anyway, thanks. Appreciate you. Come back out, man. I'd love to see you again. All right. Bye, guys.